Everybody was confused and scared at the same time. Some people started running away, while others stayed back, at least to make out meaning of what just happened. Not quite long. Upon a time in Iyo, a very beautiful, rich cultural village in the western part of Nigeria, there lived a woman called ibidun. Ibidun was a very good cook who owned a very busy restaurant called ibidun Buka. She was so skilled in her act of cooking that even the villagers attest to the fact that she makes the tastiest food in the village. In fact, even people from faraway villages come to the place just to have a taste of her meal daily. Her buka was one of the pride of her village because the indigents of that village used to boast to other neighboring villages about how they had the best cook around. Iyabidu's food was so tasty that whoever eats out of it gets hooked to her food and kept coming back. Husbands left their wives' food to have a daily taste of Iyabidu's food. Even the women and children of the village were not left out because they also desired to eat Iyabidu's food every day. There was no type of dish that Iyabidu couldn't make, and she always made them to perfection. Her food was so tasty to the extent that people queued just to buy her food. But there were some strange things about this woman. The villagers noticed some things, and these were: first, Iyabidu wasn't friendly to anyone, not even to her neighbors nor her customers. She doesn't have any friends, and no relative ever visited her. Iyabidu wasn't an indigene of the village, yet she had never traveled out of that village to go visit her own people in her own village. In fact, no one knew where she came from, and they never bothered about it. But her neighbors used to say that they do hear people's voices gisting with her every night, but nobody sees them come out or ever go in out of her apartment. Whenever the neighbors tried listening to their conversations, they weren't able to understand anything because Iyabidu and her midnight guest always discussed in a language that no one had ever heard before. They also said that most nights they always hear sounds of pot as if someone was cooking. Also, the pounding sounds of mortar and pestles were always heard from her apartment at the middle of the night. These sounds always came in such a way that signified that it wasn't only one person that was doing the cooking. Whenever people asked why she was called Ibidu, she would say that she had a child called Ibidu who would visit her soon, but Ibidu never visited her for one day. Ibidu was a very beautiful woman, and many men wanted to be in a relationship with her, but she always turned them back. She would always use her hostile nature to chase them away. She wasn't interested in any relationship. People have never seen her patronize any hairdresser nor tailor, yet she was always looking good and put together. In fact, she dresses so well that most of the females in her village always tell their tailors to recreate her styles for them. Iyabidu had some workers, yet none of her workers had ever seen her cook. In fact, before they all resumed the next day, all the food that they would sell must have been cooked. The only job the workers do was just to serve the customers. Another strange observation was that customers must rinse their plate with the water that she kept outside. Whenever any customer refuses to rinse his or her plate, the person will not be attended to. Also, any food purchased in her buka must be eaten in her shop. If anyone tries taking the food away out of her shop, the food either pours away mysteriously or goes bad before it gets home. Irrespective of the number of customers present at a time in her shop, at any given time, there was always a space to accommodate extra customers. All these things were strange and suspicious, yet the villagers never bothered because of how delicious and affordable her food was. One day, a trader called Iyawumi came to Iyo in order to visit her business partner called Iyade. Then Iyade offered to treat Iyawumi to a very sumptuous meal at the best buka in their village, so she took her to Ibidu's restaurant. As they entered the shop, Iyawumi and Ibidu's eyes met, and she called out Ibidu's name. Immediately, Iyabudu disappeared, and in a twinkle of an eye, every of her property inside the shop disappeared also with her, leaving the shop to become an empty space. At the same time, Iyawumi fell down and she became unconscious. Everybody was confused and scared at the same time. Some people started running away, while others stayed back, at least to make out meaning of what just happened. Not quite long, the news of what happened at Ibidu's shop spread round the village and beyond. People gathered around her shop in order to get first-hand gist of what just happened. So the unconscious Iyawumi was carried to the village healer, but he told them that Iyawumi's case was beyond his powers. He went further to tell them that Iyawumi saw something that she was not supposed to see, hence the reason for her unconscious state. He told them that the only person that can help her was a more powerful healer who lived far away from Iyo. He instructed them to quickly take her to him before he joins the spirit world. Iyawumi was quickly taken to the powerful healer, who repeated to them exactly what the first healer told them earlier. He went further to tell them that one leg of Iyawumi was in the land of the living, while the other leg was in the land of the dead. He said that both worlds were fighting for who will take over Iyawumi. He then told them that he would try his best to appease to the spirit world so that they can release her to the land of the living. He further told them that if after 3 days she was still unconscious, it means that Iyawumi would die. So for 2 days, the powerful healer did so many rituals and incantations just to appease the spirit world. He kept begging them to have mercy on her and release her to the land of the living. Fortunately, on the 3rd day, Iyawumi sneezed and became conscious again. So on the 7th day, when she had fully recovered, the powerful healer asked her to narrate to them exactly what she saw that made her to be unconscious. That was when Iyawumi narrated everything that happened to them. According to her, Ibidu, who had been living and cooking for them, was already dead a long time ago. In fact, she said that it was her ghost that was doing the cooking for them. All of them were shocked and they said, "Hey, so is it a ghost that has been cooking for us all this while?" Ha! Iyawumi went further to tell them that she and Ibidu were from the same village, which is very far away from Iyo. She told them that both of them were best of friends when Ibidu was still alive. She further narrated to them that Ibidu had a child called Ibidu when she was alive, hence the name Ibidu. According to Iyawumi, Ibidu was a very good cook when she was alive. She owned the restaurant when she was still in the land of the living. Unfortunately, she died at a very young age. She told them that her life was brutally cut short by some unknown wicked men as she was returning from her shop one night. Some of the people who heard her story doubted her, so she took them to her village and showed them Ibidu's grave when she was buried. At last, the question on everybody's lips was, which next village could Ibidu have disappeared to in order to continue her ghost food business? So this is the end of my story. I hope you enjoyed it. So before I go, I just want to say this story is about reincarnation. In Africa, so many people believe in reincarnation. It is believed that a dead person can come back to life and go ahead to live a normal life in another location on earth. This normally happens especially if the person dies suddenly or died at a very young age without fulfilling his dreams on earth. It is also believed that the person goes to live in a place that is very far away from the people that knew him when he was alive. Over there, he begins to do those things that he loved doing while he was alive, and most times he does them to perfection, just like in the case of Ibidun, who was a very good cook. He continues living that way until someone recognizes him, then he disappears to continue living somewhere else. When he must have fulfilled his when he must have lived his fulfilled life, he can now die, and the spirit will now eventually rest peacefully. So I want to ask you a question. Have you heard of reincarnation before? Is reincarnation practiced in your place? Or do you even believe in reincarnation? So I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know if you heard about this reincarnation, if you believe in it, and if you've seen it happen or you've heard any story about reincarnation. So please, like, if you have watched to this extent, kindly subscribe. Don't go without subscribing to this channel. Please, like I said, it's your own little way of helping this channel grow, and it's your way of supporting me. Also, don't forget to comment, like, and share the story so that it can reach other people, so that other people can enjoy those stories too. So until our next story, bye bye.